Every street has a house people pretend not to see. The kind that makes you walk a little faster when you pass it. The kind where curtains never open, but you feel eyes behind them. For me, that house stood directly across the road from my window. Paint cracked like dried skin, roof sagging, yard overgrown with weeds. No one had lived there for years, or at least that's what the neighbors said. But every night, a dim yellow light glowed upstairs, sometimes flickering, sometimes steady, and always from the same window. At first, I laughed it off. Old wiring, I told myself. But one night, as I pulled my curtains closed, my eyes locked on the glow across the road, and I saw it. A silhouette, perfectly still, perfectly centered in the upstairs window, facing me. It didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't even breathe. The road between us suddenly felt like nothing at all. Like if I blinked, it could already be here. I forced myself to look away, heart pounding. But when I dared to glance back, the figure was gone. Only the curtain remained, swinging, like someone had just stepped away. The night after I saw that figure, I told myself it was nothing. A shadow, my tired eyes, maybe even my imagination. But when you tell yourself that too many times, it stops working, because the truth waits. And the truth was waiting for me the very next night. It was past midnight. The street was silent, the kind of silence where even crickets are scared to sing. I sat by my desk, pretending to study, but my eyes, they kept sliding toward the window. That cursed window across the road. The curtains were open again, and the light flickered like a dying candle. This time, though, no figure. I almost felt relieved. Almost. Then I heard it. Knock. A single knock. But not at my door. It came from across the street. From that house, echoing so clearly through the night that it felt like it was at my doorstep. I froze, staring. No one walked past. No one was outside. Yet I could swear something had rapped against the wood of that rotting front door. I leaned closer to the glass, heart hammering. And that's when I noticed the upstairs curtain was moving again. Not like a breeze, like a hand was pulling it back, slowly, carefully. And before I could step away, the lights in my own room flickered. Once, twice, dark. I stood there in the blackness, paralyzed. When the light snapped back on, the curtain across the road was wide open, and the figure was pressed against the glass, watching me. I barely slept that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the figure's face pressed against the glass. Or rather, the lack of a face. Just darkness, like someone wearing a mask of shadow. By morning, I convinced myself I needed answers. Daylight would make the house less terrifying, right? I stood on my porch with a cup of coffee, pretending to be casual. Across the road, the house looked exactly the same. Rotting wood, weeds swallowing the gate, curtains still drawn upstairs. No sign of life. But as I stared, I realized something. The curtain I saw pulled open last night was now shut again. Completely shut. Like nothing had ever happened. Looking at that place, are you? I nearly spilled my cup. It was old Mrs. Barvez, my neighbor 2 doors down. She was walking her dog, eyes fixed on the same house. That house, she muttered, shaking her head. You should stop staring. That's how it starts. I frowned. What starts? But she didn't answer me. She just tugged her dog's leash tighter and walked away without another word. The silence she left behind was heavier than before. By afternoon, I tried to distract myself with errands, groceries, phone calls, anything. But when I came back and set the bags down, Something was wrong. My window, the one facing the house. The curtains were open, wide open. I never leave them like that. I stepped closer, hands trembling, and peered outside. The road was empty. The house stood in silence. But on my side of the glass, etched into the condensation, were 3 words written by a finger that was not mine. Don't look away. That message on my window. Don't look away. It sat in my mind like a thorn I couldn't pull out. The words had vanished by evening, the glass clear, as if they'd never been there. But I knew what I saw, and I knew one thing for certain. If I didn't find answers, I'd lose my mind. So I went back to Mrs. Parvez. She hesitated when I knocked, but finally opened the door, her wrinkled face pale. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispered. "I need to know," I said. My voice cracked, but I pushed through. "What's in that house? What's watching me?" She looked past me, across the road, as if even saying the words might wake something. Then she sighed. Years ago, a family lived there, husband, wife, and their little boy. They kept to themselves. No one ever saw them much, until one winter night, the lights in the house flickered for hours. Then, silence. When the police finally went in, the family was gone, vanished. Plates still sat on the table. No bodies, no explanation. Her voice dropped lower, but the neighbors said the windows never went dark after that. Someone always stood there, watching. Not the husband, not the wife, not the boy. Someone else. I swallowed hard. Then why hasn't anyone? They tried. She cut me off. The council boarded it up once. Next morning the boards were gone. A fire broke out another time. Next night the lights came back on. That house doesn't want to be empty. I felt the hairs on my arms rise. Mrs. Parvis's dog whined, tugging at her skirt as if urging her to stop. "Listen to me, Beta." Her eyes glistened. "Whatever it is, it's not bound to that house anymore. The more you look, the more it notices. And once it notices," she shut the door before finishing her sentence. I stood there in the street, her words echoing in my head. The more you look, the more it notices. And then, I felt it. That prickling at the back of my neck, that certainty I was being watched. I turned, hard in my throat, toward the upstairs window. The curtain wasn't just open. It was wide enough now that I could see the whole figure, tall, thin, pressed to the glass. And though its face was still a void of shadow, I swear, its hand was raised, pressed against the window, pressed against me, like it wasn't inside the house anymore. It was mirroring me, waiting. That night, I tried everything to keep myself sane. Closed the curtains, left the lights on, even put on headphones, blasting music so loud it rattled my skull. But no matter what I did, I felt it, like a weight pressing on the back of my neck, like the window itself was breathing with me. I told myself, don't look, don't give it what it wants. But around 2 a.m., the electricity cut out, my room drowned in silence, headphones dead, lights gone, and in the reflection of the moonlit glass, I wasn't alone. At first I thought it was my own shadow, my own outline in the window, until it moved when I didn't. Tall, thin, inches away on the other side of the glass. Its hand slowly lifted, pressing flat against the pane, exactly where mine rested moments before. I staggered back, heart pounding so violently, I thought it would burst. The glass began to fog up from inside, like breath, not mine. Then came the whisper, not from across the road, not from outside, but from inside my own room. A low, rattling murmur that curled into words. You looked back. Now let me in. The window latch clicked by itself, and the glass began to slide open. The sound of the latch unlocking was soft, too soft for something so final, like a whisper of permission. I froze in place, staring as the window slid open inch by inch. The night air drifted in, cold and sharp, carrying with it the smell of damp wood and something else, something rotten. The figure leaned forward, half in shadow, half in moonlight. For the first time I saw its hand clearly, long fingers, gray and crooked, as if they'd been broken and set wrong a dozen times. It gripped the frame and pulled itself closer. My body finally reacted. I stumbled back, nearly tripping over the chair, eyes locked on that stretching shadow crawling into my room. "No!" I shouted, slamming the curtain shut with shaking hands. But when the fabric fell into place, the cold breath didn't stop. I spun around. The curtains behind me bulged inward, as if something was already pressing against them, inside. Then came the knock. Not from the window, from my front door. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I backed away, every nerve screaming. The house across the road stood in silence. Its windows were dark, empty. Whatever had been there wasn't anymore. The knocks came again, louder. I crept forward, each step a war between terror and curiosity. My hand hovered over the knob, trembling. The silence on the other side was suffocating. I told myself not to open it, not to even touch it. But then, a voice spoke through the wood. My voice. "Let me in."